The 5 craziest, best, fantastic, beautiful, stunning moves of the Lightning Kid. Sounds like a Western, but we're talking about the great Viswanathan Anand of India. One of the most talented players ever to have graced the game of chess, and he's achieved a lot in his lifetime. 5 times world champion, and he also had a bit of a surge later on in his life, and he's still playing great chess, as most world champions do to this day. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the Chess.com channel, and we're going to dive into his 5 best moves in a second. Please leave comments after, letting me know what moves you like. You may have seen this first example before. This was Anand with the white pieces against Lautier. I may have even used it myself, but I had to include it because it is stunning. Anand with the white pieces now uses a combination which is called the windmill. What did he now unleash on Lautier? A move which is sparkling in its execution. Bishop to g6. What a shocking move, leaving the queen on pre and putting the bishop under attack from not 1 but 2 pawns. Is Anand crazy? No, he's not. His idea is that if his queen is now captured with queen takes d1, all of the remaining pieces dive into the attack and create checkmate. Can you see how? Rook takes e6 check, using the pin on the f7 pawn. The king has to move, and now this little guy on c1 joins the fun. Bishop takes h6 check. The king goes into a little bit of a box there, and there's checkmate in one move. Bishop takes f7. A beautiful idea. So Lautier tried another defense, and he went knight to e7, at least blocking the rook's diagonal. But now Anand finished in very clinical fashion with queen takes d4, rook takes d4, and very cleverly rook to d3. What he's trying to do here is swap off a lot of pieces and keep this bishop on g2 in a trapped structure so he can win it later on. And after rook to d8, he simply swapped off rooks, went bishop d3 with a clearly winning position. That little guy there is going nowhere, and white also has the idea of bringing the dark square bishop into f6. Surely one of his most beautiful examples. Example number 2 is Anand against Bologan, a very strong player, and I have to say I've used 2 of Bologan's losses in these 5 most amazing moves. Sorry Bologan, but they were beautiful. Now Anand, one of the most dangerous attackers ever. He often didn't sacrifice as such, playing unsoundly, but he built up his attacks in very methodical and safe ways, and when he sacrificed, it generally worked extremely well, as we're going to see here. After the move c3, what did he now play? Clearly the black king has a lot of pieces hanging around it, and those pieces now need to make their way through. Can you see the move? Knight to f6, and this is forcing opening up the black king. For example, if that knight is taken, we actually take with a g pawn, and now we're threatening queen g5 and either into g8 or g7. If now h6, trying to stop the queen getting there, a very nice move, king to h1. Just preparing rook g1, rook g8, and checkmate will follow. So after knight to f6, rook to e5 was tried by Bologan, trying to defend, and now the second sparkling moment of this attack, g6. And this may even be a better move than the original knight to f6, opening up the black king in a devastating way. Really nice stuff. The point being, if black takes with the h-pawn, queen h4 forces rook h5, and Anand can simply remove that one with a winning position. And after f takes g6, the f file is now open, and one more beautiful hit, knight d7, allowing this queen in. Bishop to e7, the knight takes the rook, and the queen sneaks its way into black's position. h6, queen e8, and it's going to be checkmate very soon, or serious loss of material. So beautiful stuff there by Anand, and you did not want to be defending against such an attack from this great player. Anand versus Sokolov, and Anand was probably most famous for dismantling the Sicilian. If you want to learn how to play the open Sicilian with the white pieces, look at Anand's games. He is quite possibly the best ever player on the white side of the open Sicilian. He demolished so many strong players. Ivan Sokolov, his victim here, how did white now start forcing his way through to get to that black king? Rook takes f7, the first blow. This pulls out the black king and allows white's queen to come in via h5. The issue black has here is his rook is often under attack, so he has to keep defending that one with king to f8. g6 would lead to checkmate, with the bishop finally coming in here. And after king to f8, Anand now brings his other rook over. This has to be blocked, knight to f6. Anand removes that guy. And after bishop takes f6, we see again another follow-up tactic. This is very typical of Anand's play. It'd be one punch after another punch. He was a combo chess puncher. Knight on d to b5, unleashing the bishop to the knight here, the other side of the board, crisscrossing towards the black king. Sokolov took that one. Knight takes tempo on the queen, queen d7, and now simply queen takes h7, creating a deadly threat. Can you see the threat? Remember, you can pause if you want to look a little bit deeper. This move again is quite magical because you could have taken a knight with check, but there's an even stronger threat. For example, had b6 been played, the threat is rook takes f6, followed by bishop h6 and mate. Sokolov tried queen to e7, but we see now rook f6 anyway. The pawn cannot capture, and after queen takes, bishop takes c5, rook e7, queen h8, knight is going to come into d6, and Sokolov resigned in a hopeless position. The black king cannot do anything. Another piece will dive in. Very, very nice stuff from Anand. When looking at Anand's best moves, it's very hard just to pick one move because, like I said, he's a combo puncher. And this is one of his most famous games. Poor old Bologan again. Bologan, whenever he gets paired against Anand, must shed a little tear of pain. And after bishop b7 from Bologan, Anand again creates a piece of art. Rook takes e6. And this just rips open the black king. This rook has to be taken, and here comes the second punch. Look for the forcing moves. Bishop to e7 check. Beautiful stuff. Drawing the king away from g7. The queen dives in there. If the black king now goes to the back rank, let's say here, queen takes h8 will be deadly. So the king comes forwards, and now just simply knight takes d4. Even though Anand is a whole rook down, the black king is completely exposed to all of white's pieces in this position. And after queen to c5, Anand now played another beautiful move, beauty after beauty, bishop to f5. I would love to play a game like this. This gets ready to move that knight with a deadly check. For example, if that bishop is taken, we can go knight to b5 check, and the knight will drop next move. For example, this is just one checkmate that could have occurred. Really nice stuff. And after bishop f5, the knight's now ready to move. Black tries queen to e5, but knight to f3 is going to win the black queen and win the game. Again, typical Anand energy. You can see why he also gained the name of Tiger with his energetic and brilliant attacks. Well, it's white to play and win, and his opponent is Ninov, and this came from one of his books on his most amazing games. Now, the next move we see often in attacking combinations, but it does have a unique follow-up here, hence why I picked it. Can you see the move? Bishop takes h7. But more importantly, it's not just the move that you have to see, it's the follow-up. A very good bit of advice actually is a lot of Russian and good trainers, when they give tests to their pupils, they don't say what's the first move, they say what's the last move in the combination. You might see the first move, but you could just be losing a piece here unless you see what to do next. And what is the point here? Did you see this when you were looking? g6. And I love this move. If the pawn captures, we win the rook, win the game. And if the king captures on g6, then queen d3, and this king is going to have nowhere to run to. One very nice line goes king h6, knight to f5 check, giving up another piece, but taking the f5 square away. And after queen h3 and rook g1, we can see that black is helpless. Beautiful, beautiful move. So g6 check, force king g8, and now queen h3, threatening checkmate on h7, combination punching. Knight to f6 was tried. If pawn takes g6, the rook would have captured on f8, and then simply knight to e6 check, and black's rook drops and he's under attack. After knight to f6, simply pawn takes f6, and black resigned after pawn takes g6, pawn takes g7. The black king has been completely ripped apart. Very, very nice stuff from Anand. You can see his pure talent here. Which of those moves was your favourite? Do remember to like and subscribe to the Chess.com channel. Also, please suggest what other players you'd like me to continue analysing in this series. Hope you enjoyed that. Goodbye for now.